This is Rummy's Corner. December 23rd from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, in a card which I believe will be televised globally on the streaming app service known as DAZN, a Boxing Day of Reckoning. A lot of quality heavyweights are fighting on the card, including former champions Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Many were expecting these two to finally square off, but that is not happening. All the same, it's nice to see these two being featured on the same card, perhaps indicating that it may finally happen sooner than later. But the good news here is that each of these former champions will be involved in an interesting matchup. In total, there are 8 fights on the card. For better or worse, here is how I see them. Dmitrii Bivol versus Lyndon Arthur. Bivol's WBA Super Duper Light Heavyweight belt will be on the line in this one. And honestly, I believe the gulf in class here will prove insurmountable for King Arthur. Bivol is one of the elite pound-for-pound boxers in the world today, with his most notable win coming against Canelo last year. Arthur has won 4 in a row since being stopped by Anthony Yarde in their rematch 2 years back. Bottom line, Bivol is an elite-level operator, and Arthur is not. I like the undefeated champion in this one by late round stoppage, so I'm taking Dmitrii Bivol by an accumulation knockout in round 9. Hopefully this sets up an undisputed showdown between Bivol and Beterbiev, provided Beterbiev wins next month against Callum Smith. Opetaia versus Ellis Zorro. This one is a battle of undefeated cruiserweights. Opetaia's IBF belt is on the line in this one, and he is widely recognized as the best cruiserweight competing today. This is another one where I think the difference in class will be on full display. I expect Opetaia to outgun Zorro, and I think he will stop him before the midway point. So in this one, I am taking Opetaia by knockout in round 5. Frank Sanchez versus Junior Fa. The Cuban Flash is an undefeated heavyweight looking to work his way up the rankings. Fa, on the other hand, is looking to rebuild after being stopped in 2 of his last 3, and he has not fought since October of last year. My general feeling here is that Sanchez will be looking to make a showcase statement that propels him to a higher profile where he could potentially work himself into the mix for a title shot within the next few years. I like Sanchez in this one, and given Junior's inactivity and the fact he is looking to rebuild, I think the Cuban Flash could win inside the distance. I am taking Frank Sanchez by 8th round stoppage. Arslanbek Makhmudov versus Agit Kabayel. This one could be interesting. You have 2 undefeated heavyweights each looking to rise up in the ratings, where the winner will potentially take an important step forward. The powerful Makhmudov is the favorite in this one, and not without good reason. Kabayel has not done a whole lot since his career-defining victory against Derek Chisora more than 6 years ago, but he may have enough tricks in his bag to bide his time and keep things close while remaining scrappy and difficult. But I believe Makhmudov will eventually break his awkward rhythm, so I am taking Arslanbek Makhmudov by 7th round stoppage. Filip Hrgović versus Mori. Hrgović is the undefeated #1 rated heavyweight contender by the IBF, and I fully expect him to win and win early. Mori is 41 and has not fought at this level since he was stopped in a round by David Haye nearly 8 years ago. This is a low-risk, stay-busy fight to maintain his ranking while he waits for the dust to settle between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. I am taking Filip Hrgović by 1st round knockout. Daniel Dubois versus Jarrell Miller. This one to me is probably the most interesting matchup aside from the main event co-feature. Dubois is coming off a one-sided loss against Usyk back in August. And with Miller, it is hard to believe how long it has been since he beat Tomas Adamek. After that, he was slated to be the challenger for AJ making his US debut, but instead Miller was dropped from the card after testing positive for a banned substance, and Andy Ruiz Jr. stepped in and shocked the world. Then after being out of action for more than 3.5 years, Big Baby Miller had a few fights since the start of 2022. I honestly think this is a terrible rebound fight for Dubois. And even though I think Dubois is a more talented boxer, I think Miller is sturdy enough to absorb the incoming fire before chopping Dubois down. I like Jarrell Miller by 3rd round knockout. Anthony Joshua versus Otto Wallin. I believe this one will be close and competitive. Wallin is the number 2 ranked heavyweight contender by the IBF, and he is coming off a nice win against Murat Gassiev. Seems clear to me that AJ is angling for a 3rd title, because if he wins this fight, he will presumably be the one facing Hrgović for the vacant IBF belt, assuming the expectation that the Fury-Usyk winner is stripped by the IBF. If Wallin wins, he will solidify his place while possibly getting a second AJ payday along the way. Wallin is a talented southpaw. While clearly not as good as Usyk, I think he is skilled enough that he can mimic a poor man's variety of what worked for Usyk, where Wallin could very well outbox and out-hustle AJ, provided Wallin is durable enough to absorb AJ's power. Best case for Wallin, he makes it close and competitive with a reasonable case as the victor. But even if that does happen, there is reason to believe that he might not get the nod. Be that as it may, I think Wallin will prove durable enough to survive AJ's power, but I still maintain that AJ is skilled and talented enough that, combined with his heavy hands, he will earn a close but clear decision without any controversy. Although I wouldn't rule out a late stoppage for AJ either. But officially, I am taking Anthony Joshua by a 12-round unanimous decision. Deontay Wilder versus Josep Parker. I think this is easily the most fascinating matchup on the card. Wilder is the former long-reigning WBC heavyweight champion, but he has only fought once since suffering back-to-back brutal losses against Fury. That fight was over a year ago now when he stopped Robert Helenius in October of last year. Parker himself is the former WBO heavyweight champion, and he has had mixed success at the top level since losing against AJ, where he is a little over a year removed from suffering a brutal loss of his own against Joe Joyce. Parker has been more active and is technically more sound. Wilder is getting up there in age, but given power is the last thing to go, I don't think the inactivity itself is a huge issue. But what might be a huge issue is Wilder's mental state following his trilogy with Fury. The fact that he has not fought a full round in the last 2+ years. At 38 years old, that could be reason for concern. And Parker has a big opportunity here. But to me, Parker has never had that extra dimension that leads me to believe he will be victorious. I like Deontay Wilder inside the distance, and if it goes long enough, I will not be at all surprised if Wilder is behind on the cards when it happens. But I do not think this one will last particularly long. For my official prediction here, I am taking Deontay Wilder by 2nd round knockout. So for better or worse, those are my fight predictions for the Day of Reckoning fight card. But as always, I ain't no Quasimodo. My track record sucks, even though I believe amazingly I am 9-1 this year. But regardless, I'm fired up for the event. Sure, it would be better if these guys were mixed and matched a little differently, with Wilder versus AJ, and Wallin versus Parker, and maybe Hrgović versus Sanchez or something like that. But it will still be an enjoyable card. And the thing of it is, with all these elite heavyweights today getting older, some of these other guys could be a big part of the title picture down the road. Whatever ultimately happens in the Fury-Usyk feud, I think those two are probably both nearing the end fairly soon. And Wilder's getting older, and AJ's a bit younger, but he's had a physically and mentally taxing career to date. And it's interesting, because today you basically have two schools of thought with heavyweights, where one side believes AJ is the one who took on all the challenges, where he was avoided by Fury and Wilder. And on the other side you have the opposite take, that Fury and Wilder were the only two from the elite trio to face the next best name in each other. So seeing Wallin, a guy who gave Fury a fight going up against AJ, will no doubt add fuel to the fire. And then Wilder going up against a guy AJ previously beat in Parker, again, this will inevitably add fuel to the fire one way or another. For me personally, I think Fury, Wilder, and AJ were all a big step up from the rest for a while there. But now, I believe the gap between the top few guys and the rest of the top 10 isn't as drastic as it was. And of course, Usyk figures into all this too. But by the time he made the jump to heavyweight, Fury, Wilder, and AJ had already established themselves as the big three there for a time, notwithstanding AJ's setback against Ruiz, which he avenged in a lopsided affair. But there are a lot of interesting dynamics here, between those who believe AJ and Usyk are a cut above, and then those who believe Fury and Wilder are a cut above. Damn interesting fight card just before Christmas, which I consider a very welcome treat indeed. I am looking forward to seeing all of these fights play out, and best of luck to all 16 boxers participating on the card. I hope we get some damn good fights. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and have a wonderful night. This is Rummy's Corner.
You know, Quasimodo predicted all this.